So when a patient and family go on a Hatzolah call in the weekday, it's pretty stressful. But when a patient is taken to the hospital on Erev Shabbos or on Shabbos, then there's no time to think and there's tremendous stress. What happens, what about all the halachas that take place? Forget about for the patient, for the family member who's accompanying the patient. What do you do about electric doors? What do you do about elevators? What do you do about bathrooms with electronic eyes? There are so many shilas, there are so many halachas. What do you do about walking if you want to walk back in terms of an Erev Tchumim? What do you do about carrying if you don't know if there is an Erev or where there is an Erev, etc., etc., etc. So, recently, a patient was taken to Westchester Hospital on a Friday afternoon and then was discharged Friday night around 11 o'clock at night. And the family did not know what to do. They approached me afterwards, Baruch Hashem, the patient is healthy. They approached me and they said, why don't we give some sort of directives for a family when they get taken to a hospital on Shabbos or Yom Tov or Erev Shabbos? And I went to look into it and did a little research and found out that once upon a time, thanks to Rav Yecheskel Weiss, a pamphlet was produced, and it was okay, but there were none left, and there was basically one damaged copy that I found in the office. So I discussed this with a few people, and we decided to redo this on a professional level, make a Hilchos Shabbos Guidebook booklet. It's in color, and it's short, sweet, and to the point. It's not a sefer that a person has to study. It's simply a short booklet that gives you the outlines. What can you do about carrying? What can you do about Erev Tchumim? What do you do about the electronic eyes in the hospital? What do you do about going on an elevator if you have to? What is a chola sheyesh bo sakana versus a chola she'ein bo sakana? When are you permitted to do this? When are you permitted to do that? So this booklet was sponsored through the generosity of Yaakov and Brenda Lev. The book was authored by Rabbi Yecheskel Weiss, and it was looked over and has the haskama of the Belzer Dayan of Monsey, Harav Bitzalel Wettenstein. And I have to tell you that I feel wonderful that we were able to do this, because right before we went to print, someone called me up on a Friday afternoon, somebody who I deal with on a regular basis. Rabbi Golding, my wife's sick, they want to take her to the hospital. Which hospital do I take her to? I said, you should go wherever the Hatzoloh members tell you to go. And he ended up in Westchester Medical Center because it was a suspected stroke. The bottom line, he says, well, what happens? He's sending me text messages. What happens if we get discharged on 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, anytime on Friday night? What do I do? So I went ahead and I said to myself, we had the text of this booklet in email form, even though we had not yet printed it. It wasn't totally final, it was almost final. I emailed it to him, he downloaded it, printed it, and he had the papers with him, and he used it to guide them how to come back from Westchester Medical Center on Friday night, which non-Jewish car service to call. Car services that understand the needs of a Shomer Torah Mitzvah Jew. And it's already, just that in itself is worthwhile. All the work that went into it, it's 16 pages. The first half from one side is like an English book, and the other half is done in Yiddish for those people who understand Yiddish. So we have Yiddish and we have English, and it is short, sweet, and to the point. And for this is something that is necessary. My hope and prayers are that every Hatzolah throughout New York City, Central Hatzolah, Lakewood, takes this, adapts it, and adopts it for their use. Even though the halachas here, we only spoke about, we gave some advice, there's a bikachal room in Nyack, there's a bikachal room in Good Samaritan Hospital, what to do in Westchester, whether you can walk back. We didn't even touch about Erev Tchumim. Yes, if a patient's family member wants to walk back, not the patient, but the family member wants to walk back, well, the whole Monsey area is covered by an Erev. But if you go to Nyack, there are shilas of Hilchos Tchumim, Tchum Shabbos. Westchester is definitely out of the Tchum. And certainly, if a patient is taken to Columbia Presbyterian or Mount Sinai in the city, it's certainly outside the Tchum. So all these types of shilas are spoken about in this little booklet, and you can get the booklet you can go online on our website, which is RHVAC, Rockland Hatzolah Volunteer Ambulance Corps, rhvac.org. You can download it. It says resources. Click, print, and download it. You can pick it up from the Hatzoloh offices at 19 Grove Street. And, in Yitzhak Hashem, these will be distributed in all of the Bika Cholim rooms in the local hospitals, as well as having in every single Hatzolah ambulance, and we have 18 of them, in every ambulance there'll be like a holder, a plastic holder, and as the patient is being brought into the hospital, together with a Shabbos pekel, we call them the Shabbos peklach, with some grape juice and challahs and stuff like that, we will also give them this Hilchos Shabbos booklet. I'll show you what it looks like. I have one here. This is the Yiddish side, and this is the English side. And I certainly hope that you should never need it. But in case you do, this should be the first thing that you should read. Thank you very much.